Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am jumping in with a quick intro before the intro that you are about to see for this upcoming video because I forgot to mention something. You are going to see me do a transformation of a shirt. It was a very big shirt and I tailored it. I don't feel like it quite shows in the video, but it's probably just me because I've been working on it so long and it's like I almost don't remember what it looked like before, and then it dawned on me. I'm going to send you guys to my previous video when I tried on my thrift store clothes because that shirt is in there. I think it might be the second shirt. I'm so jumpy today. All I know is it's at the 7-minute mark. So if you've already watched that video and you want to just jump to that part where I'm modeling this big ass shirt that I am going to be cutting down in this video, just go to that video and then just move the thingy over to 7-minute mark and you'll see that shirt and only that shirt. And I think you'll get a much better idea of how big it really was, and maybe you'll notice the difference. I also forgot to show you guys, oh my God, there's no end to interruptions. I'm leaving these in because that's it. What the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, when I tried on the shirt at the end of this video, I forgot to roll up the sleeves because it was super cute with the sleeves rolled up. And I do think I'm going to make a few more alterations in the front, a couple more darts or sewing the pleats down flat. You'll know what I'm talking about when you get to the end of the video because I mentioned that. So when I do my next try on of thrift store clothes, because I've already gathered a bunch more that I'm going to want to model for you guys, I'll probably have that additional alteration done, and if not, I will at least show you the shirt again with the sleeves rolled up. All right, this was fun. A little bit frustrating, but very fun. So watch, and be sure to go watch the first video too. That intro was all for nothing because I showed you the shirt again in this video too. That was days ago. I didn't remember doing that. You can still go watch the first one if you want. If you haven't seen it, do go watch it. And you're gonna see it again here, and I will wear it again during my next try-on haul video. And that's it. I need to stop talking now. Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am going to attempt a major alteration. I want to take this shirt that I got at the thrift store. I believe I paid like $2 for it. And you can tell it's pretty big. It's very big on me. I will show it to you on me. And I'm going to be completely deconstructing it. I'm going to be taking the sleeves off. I'm going to be taking the front off from the back. And my plan is to use a different shirt that I just got at the thrift store. This shirt, which I also got at the thrift store for about $1.50. And I am going to be cutting this up to use as a pattern. Now this is, a nice enough shirt, but there are some stains on the back. It's actually too small for me, so I'm going to have to enlarge the pattern. And so, yeah, the reason I wanted this shirt is because it's not just the darts. You know, I like a blouse to be more fitted, and you can do darts, but this one is tailored. So it's got the bust line included, and on both sides, so I'll be taking those pieces apart, and then let me show you the back. As you can see, there's some little stains or something going on the back, and there's even like a little spot right there. Anyway, I didn't care because I'm cutting it up. And you can see the back is tailored too. There's a seam that goes all the way down up to the arms, all the way down. So I think I'm going to really like doing this. Will I be successful? Well, we don't know. So let me try on both shirts and show you how they fit. Okay, this is the shirt. You saw it when I was trying on shirts, and yes, it's way too big. I knew this. I bought it because I like the print, and it's 100% rayon, and it is a 3X, so it is quite big. It does have some pleating here, And I'm going to just leave that. Oh yeah, the pleating starts like here, I can feel it. And I'm going to be leaving that, but I'm going to be cutting this all into separate pieces, and hopefully I will be able to take the pieces that I cut from the other shirt and make a pattern. I think I'm going to transfer the other shirt onto paper because I want to enlarge it. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. And this is the shirt that I'm going to be cutting up. Yes, it's tight, uncomfortably tight. The sleeves are tight. And I don't want the other shirt to be this fitted. I mean, I want it like kind of fitted, but I want it to be a little bit flowy. So I will be enlarging this. But you can see how it's got the, you know, the tailoring that goes down across the bust instead of just darts. And it does the same in the back. So I just kind of like it, but the sleeves are tight. Everything is tight. It's just too small. I hope I can do an okay job enlarging it, and we will see. We'll see if I can use this as a pattern to turn that other shirt into something that I would wear. I want to do this with the least amount of editing possible. So I'm not going to like actually have you guys watching me cut in fast speed. I'm going to tell you what I'm cutting. I am going to cut on all the lines. There's a line right here for this tailored part. I'm not picking out stitches. That would take too long. I am just going to cut on that line. And then I'm going to cut on the side. I'm going to cut all that. I will be cutting the, where are we? Well, that's interesting. Hang on. I knew there had to be a seam. I'll be cutting the seam here. I'll probably just, I might leave the cuff on for now, but I'll just be cutting it so I can open up the sleeve. I'll be cutting the sleeve here, all the way around to take the sleeve right off. I'm going to cut up here on the shoulder. And I might just, you know, cut off the collar like that, because whatever shirt I use this pattern on is already going to have a collar. And then I will do obviously the same on this side, and I will do the same on the back. I'm going to cut down those lines here that make the shirt tailored. And I'll show you the parts as soon as I have that done. This is what I cut, and obviously I don't need to cut both sleeves out and the front pieces and things like that, because I'm just going to need one sleeve as the pattern, and I'm going to make 2 sleeves on the new shirt. So there's a sleeve. This is the part that makes the shirt tailored, and then there's the front, and I don't need to worry about buttons, buttonholes, things like that, because I'm using a pre-made shirt. And then over here, this is the center of the back, and then there's going to be a piece on this side and the same on that side. And this back could actually be cut in half and then just put that cut side on the fold of the new fabric, but I'm just leaving it as the full back, which is handy, especially if you have a print that you're working with. Now I just need to put these pieces on paper. And this is what's left of that shirt. See, I didn't need to cut everything. It is a few days later, and I'm ready to start working on this again. I believe I mentioned that I was going to transfer the cut shirt onto paper for pattern pieces. I'm not going to even bother to put them on paper. I'm just going to use the cut shirt, and I am going to now deconstruct this shirt. But all I'm doing for this one is I am taking off the sleeves and opening up the sides, and that's it. And I should say that I'm going to just cut on the seam. Again, no picking stitches. This is way big, so I can just cut on the seams, taking off the sleeves, and I will just cut along the seam on the sides. I forgot to mention that I will also be cutting along the seam of the sleeve, and I'll just cut right across, right through that little cuff. I just want to be able to open up the sleeve and lay it flat. This is what I have now. That's the front, and the back. And you can see that I left that attached. I don't think I need to cut the shoulders. I think I'm going to be okay with what I'm imagining in my head. So the front and back, and the sleeves are gone. Now I'll show you the sleeves. And here are the sleeves, and they always take up more fabric than you would think. You know, there's a lot of fabric in a sleeve. I'm going to be working on the shirt first, sleeves last. I do need the sleeves to be bigger than the sleeves of the pattern top. And I think these are going to work out pretty good for me. I think I'm just going to have to take a little bit in on the sides. This is very scary. This is the back of the shirt. This is the back. This is the back. I need to cut this piece and then a piece like this over here off and then sew them back together to the back of the shirt. The reason it has to be cut is you can see there's different cuts there. There's a curve, and then there's a curve up there, but then not here. And when you sew that together, that's what's going to create the dart. Like that would be the dart there. And it's going to make it tailored, supposedly. Now, what I did is I pulled the neckline of this right up to the collar because I'm trying to get the shoulder seams as close to where the shoulder seams are here. See, they're here. They're cut a little different. I'm going to worry about that later. I might be able to take that in and make it a little bit more slanted, but I don't know if I necessarily need to do that. And the same here. I just tried to put this in the middle. This part may need to be trimmed, but that's all part of the sleeve. This is the sleeve opening here. So I'm just going to worry about that later, and again, I might not need to touch it. And when I sew pieces together, if I need to take them in after, I certainly can. I just would take it in a little bit more and then trim. And then the hem. You can see the hem is curved. And for now, I am leaving all that hem as is. So when I cut the back, I'm going to cut it about 1/4 of an inch bigger for my seam allowance. I know with clothing, usually it's like a 5/8 inch. I don't do that. 1/4 of an inch is fine with me. So I will be cutting 1/4 of an inch larger than this. So I'll just be cutting outside of it a little bit. And when I get to here, I'm just going to cut all the way down right across this hem. And when I do this piece, I will do the same. So hopefully when I put it all back together, it'll still be, you know, a rounded hem like that, and it'll look okay. Okay, so let me fearfully take this off. Oh yes, I am not enlarging the shirt here. The shirt will be enlarged when I cut this piece. I'm just going to add a little extra on this end. So the enlarged part will be like on my sides. Oh my God, this is so confusing. What I'm going to do right now is I've already decided I'm not doing 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to do 1/2 an inch. And I am going to cut 1/2 an inch here, all the way down, right through the original hem. And on this side, same thing. All right, I did that step, and I just eyeballed this. And I did take a little bit. When I got here and cut off the end, I took a little bit there to just round that off, and I supposedly did it on that side too, but now that got messed up. Now I need to cut the side pieces of the back. And this is where I'm going to enlarge the shirt, on this side here. So on this side, I put it like as close as I could. I'm going to do 1/2 an inch, and I'm going to follow this piece. And again, I'm going to go all the way down. I don't know if that's necessarily going to work on my hem, but I can re-hem it after. I'm just going to, you know, do the full length of this fabric for now. And I'm not going to worry about the fact that it's rounded there and not squared off. And then I will take this piece and flip it over and do the same here. So I'll have 2 of these side pieces. For this piece, it looks like this. I just trimmed. And then on this side, I went as wide as I could here. And then I just tried to keep it about 1 inch bigger and maybe a little bit bigger this way. Just because I want it to be a wider shirt than the pattern shirt. Now I'm going to take this and flip it to there and do that too. And when I say flip it, I mean flip it. This one, this piece was right side up. Now it's right side down. It's hard to see, but I just flipped it this way. And now I'm going to trim. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking one of the side pieces and I'm putting it on the other. And I matched up the hems and I want to just trim to make them even. And then I'll flip this over to see, I might have to trim something on the other side too. So I'm just going to trim this piece. And then I flipped it over and I'm going to trim here. That's like where the dart area is. So I want to make sure I trim those evenly. And I also did the same for the center of the back. I folded that in half. And I did a really good job according to this side. Let me flip it over and look. And it looks like I did a good job according to this side also. Could trim a tiny little bit there, and since that is part of the dart, I think I'll take that off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cutting mat under there and just use my rotary cutter and just trim right there. And that looks good. Now what I'm going to do is sew these pieces onto here. And they're not going to like fit perfectly. You have to work it in. I'm going to flip one over to show you. See, it doesn't look like it's going to work because it's curved. But you have to go to the machine and just, start sewing. I'm trying to reach this. I'm looking through the camera like that. And then you just work in the curve all the way down. I know you're not going to be able to see the seams, but this came out pretty good. I can see the seam right here. I can feel it. And then same here. But you can tell with this pattern, it hardly shows. Let me see if you can see it. See the seam? See where that paisley is cut off? And it's a nice curve all the way down. Now I've got this shit happening at the armholes, but I'm not concerned about armholes at this point. And yeah, I hope they're not going to be too big, but we'll worry about that in a minute. Now we have to move on to the front. Now for the front. The front is buttoned. It's also smocked. I'm just laying this on top of the smocked part as best as I can. So whatever smocking remains, well, that's what remains. And whatever falls loose, I'll deal with that in a minute. So it's going to be something like this. I'm going to have this piece here, and then I will flip it over and do the same here. And then this piece, once this is cut off, I will fit this piece on, and I will make it about an inch bigger on this side, just like I did for the back. Everything else will just be cut at about a ½ inch, 1/4 of an inch to a ½ inch. I haven't been that fussy about it. And then that will be flipped over here after I cut this piece flipped over. I'll lay those out again for you. And I would do the same on this side. Oh my God, this is very scary. And I don't expect anybody to know how to do this after I do it. I'm just trying to give you ideas that if you do know a little bit about sewing, like more than me, you can cut up a shirt maybe and turn a different shirt into a shirt that no one will ever wear. So for this piece, I'm putting this up where that seam is. But again, that seam goes straight across, and this one has an angle. I'm not worried about that because I don't know what to do about it, so I'm just not going to worry about it. And now I'm obviously not cutting anything on this side because I'm up at the buttons, because this shirt buttons all the way down. So I'm just going to be cutting. See this like smocky part? I'm just going to like kind of tuck that under. I'm just going to be cutting here about a ½ inch all the way down, including past the hem. As for this curve, I'm not cutting that yet. I'm just going to go like cutting like this and right off. And now you can see when I cut that, well, I moved it a little bit, that little bit of smocking fell out. So I'm going to go ahead and trim it, trim that off. And as I showed you, I just went off that line, followed that curve. I don't know what to do with that stuff yet. Now I'm going to do the same on this side. I just flipped this piece over, and now I'm going to cut about a 1/2 inch all along this curve all the way down. This is what the front center looks like now. You can see there's still a little bit of smocking. That might be pretty cool. And now I have to cut these pieces. This is going to be weird, and I'm hoping this somehow works. I need that curve here. I'm not worried about the armhole at this point. So I'm going to maybe pull this down just a little bit more. And I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch on this side all the way down. And then on this side, this is the side seam. I want about an extra inch. I may have to take that in, I hope. I hope it would be too big and not too small. So I'm going to do about an inch following this. It's not really a curve, but you can see it's straight here, and then it starts to angle a little bit. My battery ran out. What I'm going to do is, instead of using this as a pattern for that piece, I'm going to just take the one I cut, and I will lay this right sides together onto that, and then I will just use this as the pattern so they can be both be the same size. Now I have the 2 side pieces cut, and once again I'm going to flip those over and just magically work the curves in together, and that's what's going to give it the tailored look. But I wanted to show you something that I did before. I just wanted to show you that when I was measuring this piece, this is the buttoned side. There's the other side with the buttonholes, but it doesn't matter. They're the same size pieces, and I just cut one out. I just laid that down right on top of that other strip of buttons. It's hard to see, but this shirt is buttoned, and I laid that down there to measure. And then when I did the other side, I just flipped it, but still, I put it right on top of that strip of buttons, like that. That's how I measured, so I knew how far out to cut. And now, like I said, I'm flipping this over. It doesn't look like it's ever going to fit, but you have to just, put your points together and just work in the curve. This is what we have so far. This looks still way too big, but that's okay. And I wanted to show you the bottom hem in the front. First of all, it's shorter than in the back. It was in the first place, to begin with. And when I sewed those curved pieces in, we have this sticking out on the bottom a little bit longer. Now, when I sewed this curved piece in, I didn't do it quite right, and this piece was shorter by at least an inch. So I picked all the stitches out, redid it, did it right, and I left this open here and here, so I'll be able to trim this, hem it, and, sew those seams closed. But I'm not doing that until the very end because I don't know if I might need to cut the back too. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm okay with the front being longer than the back. I just hope the front isn't too short. It doesn't look like it's going to be too short. I don't know. And now the next thing we would have to deal with are the sleeves. And the other thing I need to do is I'm going to need to fold this shirt lengthwise. I'll do a neater job, but I just wanted to show you what I mean. I'm going to be folding it lengthwise in half so I can make sure that the armhole openings are symmetrical. And now that I have that folded, let me turn that around. Okay, you can see the sleeves. This is much smaller than this one. This was too small. The arm was tight on me. I did not like that. So I don't think I'm using this at all. I think I'm going to just use the original sleeves. Now, the sleeve that I just threw on the floor, I aimed for the bed, it fell on the floor. They were symmetrical. Most sleeves have a front and a back. Usually the back opening of the armhole is bigger and a little bit more coverage on your shoulder. And in the front, it's shorter. And that's what's going on here. This is like 11 something and this is like 13 inches. So I opened one of these up. Let's see. And without me having noticed when I cut them, I would say this is the back of the sleeve. So this would get sewn on this side, and it's a little bit shorter here. Looks like the front to me. And then the other one will be the opposite of that. So I'm going to see if that's going to fit in there. And normally we sew the sides up of a shirt first. You sew the side seams of the sleeve, and then you can set the sleeve in. But I don't usually do that. I'm going to probably just sew this here, and then I sew the side seams and the sleeve all at the same time. It's just a little bit easier that way. But let me see what I can figure out. What I do is I just match it up carefully all the way around to see if it's going to end in the right spot. And it pretty much is. I just need to trim off this piece right here. So I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to cut this piece off too. See, that's like the serged edge from when it was made previously. So I'm just going to follow along and cut that off. I just very loosely pinned that sleeve back in. And now I'm just going to go sew around that. And I'm not concerned about how wide the, I'm going to say the wrist part. I don't think it's going to fall to my wrist. I can take that in after. I'll just probably sew it all together and then start taking it in where I don't like the bigness of it. I don't know what I'm talking about. So there's the sleeve, but before I started sewing, I took all the pins out. I took the sleeve off because I knew it wasn't going to quite fit, and I'm going to need to trim about almost an inch along here. So I'll just show you what I did. It's going to be hard to explain, but when I started sewing, instead of having these two pieces be even, like this, this corner right there to this corner, I figured I needed to take about an inch off each edge of the sleeve. So I just started like this. I didn't repin anything. I just put this much fabric sticking out. I sewed all the way. And then when I came out on this side, I had about the same sticking out. So that is the sleeve down there. So now I'm going to trim this off. And the other sleeve that I do, see, I'm just going to go here and I'm just going to trim that amount, whatever that is, about an inch off. And then I will trim the other sleeve and take an inch off each side, and then I'm going to set it into this side. It is the next day. I had to quit after I put those sleeves in. You could tell I was getting a little frustrated. I had worked on this all day into the night, and I had just about had it. It has been going pretty well, but it's just frustrating because I have to try to figure everything out, and then I have to also try to explain to you guys, and I feel like I do a horrible job at that sometimes because I don't really know how to explain it because I'm just making shit up as I go along. So I have the sleeves in. I did try it on, even though it's not sewn together on the sides at all. I tried to put it on me last night, and I just took it off because, again, I didn't want to think about it anymore. So now I'm going to go throw it on me just to check the where the arms, where the sleeves start. I think it's a little too long on the shoulder part. So let me just go try that on really quick, and I'm going to come back and see what I need to do there. I think the shoulders are going to be okay. The sleeve isn't like dropped too much, a little bit, and I kind of like that. Now I just folded it this way. What I have to do and what I'm going to do before I make any other decisions is I'm just going to go ahead and sew the sleeve and the side seams. Then I can put it on and really get a better idea of what else needs to be done. I just need to put it on me as a whole shirt and not just two halves just floating in the air. So let me do that. I can't even believe this. This is coming out to almost exactly what I wanted. Some of you, when you see it on me, might think it's a little bit too loose still, but here's the deal. I can put that on over my head without having to unbutton anything. That's a win. And the sleeves are wide at the wrist, and I think they go to my wrist pretty close. For now, I'm leaving it that way. I can roll them up if I want, and I kind of like the look of that wide opening at the wrist. Now what we have to do, the only sad thing, it's a little tight across the back, on the back side at my, shoulders. Tiny little bit tight. That's going to fix itself as I lose more weight. And I can always change my mind and take things in. But all I need to do right now is fix this. This is already hemmed, this piece. So I'm going to cut about maybe a half an inch or a little bit more. And I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to hem this part that's sticking out. And then when I hem it, I'm going to make sure it's even to these two guys. I might still, continue the curve like that. And then I just will flip this over and finish this seam right here. And we'll be good. So let me get that done. Here's the hem on the front now. Let's go try it on. I'm going to show you the before picture first. I don't know if you guys can really see much of a difference, but I mean, I absolutely can see a difference. Let me try to back all the way up. The sleeves are, like I said, they're kind of wide, but I like them that way. And, definitely the tailored parts of the shirt, that makes it fit so much better. I do have this smocking going on that, if I wanted to, I could fold that smocking in, obviously on a table where I can see what I'm doing. And I could even sew that down so that would almost, that would hold in any of this flare. But for now, I'm satisfied. A little tight in the back, just a little bit. And it's not a stretchy fabric. I'm not a blouse kind of person. So I did want this, kind of flowy, and, it certainly is. I just love it so much. The hem of the shirt is the natural hem of the shirt. I didn't have to hem anything. The sleeves too. There was an elastic in the sleeves. I took the elastic out. So now I just have that natural hem. I didn't have to do anything there. I'm very glad that I did this project. I think for a first attempt at something this complicated, I thought this was complicated. I think it came out great, and I'm very happy with it. I'm going to have to look at the before pictures again, because I'm almost like thinking there's no difference, but there has to be, because I know that it wasn't just like this. It was a very wide shirt. So I hope that you liked this video. I enjoyed doing it. A little frustrating at the end as I started to get scared that I had fucked it all up. But I think I did a good job, and I'm very happy with this shirt. I absolutely will be wearing it. I don't think it'll be a shirt that I'm wearing to the clubs, to go dancing, but definitely to go shopping or just to go out, just day shirts. I need shirts. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.